Good afternoon, everybody on YouTube. This is Rick Thomas from Obsolete Video Services. Hey, guys. All right, today is a pretty good day, actually, in a couple aspects. First of all, we did get the customer's D5 tape transferred. It was 30 minutes, and it was some pretty interesting stuff. I can see why he wanted to get it done. We do small shell and full large shell. We have an HD2000 D5. This is a very high-end deck compared to the other models they made after it. This was really kind of the best deck, really, out of all of them. Again, guys, that came with a slew of decks that were donated to me last week. All right. Anyways, he came with his D5 tape. We did transfer it. It did load, but since I didn't have any tapes for this deck, I got to see what this deck actually was doing. So we got the tape to load, we got it to transfer, got the customer done. Today I put it up on the table and we're going to do a complete mech overhaul on this. The reason I'm saying that is I did do the assessment overhaul on this, which is just the basics, because everything looked pretty good, but since I didn't have any tapes, I couldn't do a complete load mechanism engage, which is what I really wanted to do. So today was a great test. Got a sample tape, and also I did a customer job. So basically, we are going to overhaul the loading motor, which is back there. And this thing has a very big problem with aluminum parts. Aluminum parts on stainless steel. It's very common on a lot of decks. When these things are on stainless steel pins, they lock up. The metals react with each other. They react with each other, and they lock up, and the grease gets very hard, and you can't move these. They get solid as a rock. And if you take a pair of pliers to try to loosen them up and put oil in there and stuff like that, you end up breaking the aluminum parts. Not recommend you do that. So anyways, it needs a complete mech lubrication. I mean complete. So basically it's going to be in 2 or 3 different places. I did the loading motor already. We got to do the slide loading armature that actually lets the loading arms push in from this one motor. It's very mechanized. Like I said, guys, if you don't oil and grease your decks, and if they sit for a long time, they're not going to be free moving like this thing should be. So this thing was moving, but it was going when it was loading. It's not supposed to do that. It's supposed to go and then it loads. That's how fast it's supposed to be. When you got grease that's really, really hard and it's starting to get to that point, that means the machine's getting ready to fail, or these are going to actually lock up big time from being dry and being hard as a rock. Not good. So if I'm going to be using this deck for customer tapes, I don't like to half-ass anything. We're going to get this thing 100% factory before I use it. I did get a great test tape with a customer today, so I was able to assess the machine big time. Great quality, great playback. The quality of the playback on this deck is insane. It's seriously really nice quality. It's just mind-blowing. So these high definition D5s are awesome decks. They play fantastic video. So anyways, I did get my test tape in the mail today, so I could assess even more. We are going to do a complete lubrication overhaul on this deck. It seemed okay. I didn't have any test tapes to even try it, but now that we have had two tapes today and we got to go through the whole mechanism to see how it looks, it's very sluggish. It was going so slow it wasn't even funny. That's due to the fact it's been sitting for a very long time, and all the grease is getting very, very hard. And when the grease gets hard and it starts freezing up these aluminum parts, they get to the point where you can't move them. And if you take a pair of pliers and try to move those, you're going to break the part right off. And in most general cases, you have to change these with new ones, but I have a way of getting them loose. Never spray anything on those. You don't want to get any type of spray lubricant into any of the mechanisms. You do not use you don't use like 10W40 or anything like that. You don't use that on these type of things. You will destroy your machine. That stuff gets on everything. You can't use like WD-40, and if you use a dab of oil, it still doesn't do anything because the oil that they used and the molecular makeup of the aluminum and the stainless steel, it's lock solid. It's a real disaster. So you got to basically get them apart, and it takes time. You got to move them slowly by hand to get them loose, to get them off. Then you got to clean the shafts. And everything's got to be re-lubed. And like I said, I use a special lubrication with Prolong, and this stuff will not lock up or seize again. I already did the loading motor. So like I said, guys, this is a D5. It does need a complete mech overhaul. Nothing's broken. It's just it's not moving. And when things don't move, you got a very big problem. And it's going to get to the point where it snags a tape, or it's just not going to take the tape and load at all. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video.